Hey, Charles, how are you on this charming Charles Trent Thursday?
Yes, everything's going great over here. About ready for a storm, it looks like. So
Mm, Yes,
any
we
second
had
now.
storm yesterday. I don't know. This past week has been kind of frustrating to me in that I've been around all the horses. If I had bet exactas all week, I'd have a phenomenal week. You did have a nice winner yesterday that you put some that you thought would win that 7 horse,
Yep.
which was one that you put your $25 bet on. So congratulations on that. The goal around here is to get a positive ROI since we've been doing this between all of our bets. The $100 challenge. We accomplished that in December. So far, we're on pace to do that in January as well. So hopefully today we can choke up on our pistols and shoot them with both barrels and hit some winners today, Charles. You see
Yeah,
what I did there?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I think we do definitely do have some winners today. So it's going to
Well, I
be
hope so. Some short fields at Aqueduct. The track right now is fast. I know when I saw last night, there was some um, weather in the forecast. Well, of course, there's always weather, but maybe a little bit of precipitation. Last night, if you didn't have a chance to catch a show with Julie and Swiss Army Sean, they got young, aspiring trainer on the way up the ladder, TJ Aguirre. In fact, he's actually going to join us tomorrow night for our football picks, too. So you're going to want to make sure you check out TJ. You're going to hear more about him as the years progress. So make sure you tune in for TJ Aguirre on Horse Center. That's you can find that right here on Horse Racing Radar TV. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then today, while you're with us, if you have any picks, I know my man Jared, he sent me off some picks today too. I have them in my phone in my texts. Not quite sure what to make of his picks in terms of how he breaks them out, but it does look like at Aqueduct, at least, he likes was it Aqueduct or no at Gulfstream Park, like the 3 horse in every single race. So I'll tell you who Jared likes as we go along. If you're interested in knowing that, for sure, we'll let you know. All right, are you ready to tackle Aqueduct today?
ready to rock and roll.
Ready to put it together. All right, so let's see. Race number 1. Let me pop up the screen here for race number 1 at Aqueduct. This one is 6 furlongs. It's a maiden right off the get-go. For $70,000, the purse is 70 grand. A 6 furlong winner at the Big A, as they call it, does have early speed. 39% of them go wire to wire. There's a little bump if you ride that rail. Small drop in terms of the win rates at posts 2 and 3. 4 through 7, again, a little bit better. And then 8 and out, you drop off again. 8 and out don't come into play today, Charles. And this one looks like it can be a competitive affair when the gates open and the dirt starts flying.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be between 2 horses. Well, could be possibly 3 horses through the simulation, but I do believe it's going to be the 5 and the 4 out there in front. The five's got a 44% chance of hitting the lead at the quarter pole, and the four's right there. With a slightly over 32% of having the lead. So I think those two will be battling out. They also said the one has a chance there at that with 22%. But yeah, I think those other two will be the ones battling it. When it comes to odds, well, there's really only one horse here, and basically, you it's like what 1 to 2 should be the odds or something like that.
Yeah, less than
And
that. It should be like 1 to
yeah,
20.
one of yeah. Anyway, it should be, and the morning line is about even money, and it probably will go slightly under even. But you know, this is I think it's a 2 horse race, my opinion.
Yeah, right now that 5 horse is 1 to 1. And quite frankly, if you get 1 to 1, I'll be shocked, to be honest with you. That'd be a bit concerning for the backers of the 5 if it goes off at 1 to 1. Looking at the simulation odds, we do 1,000 simulations using speed figures and then calculate out who wins those races. A little bit of math behind it. It's not just the last best one. 22% you see here, that's the lead. Again, 1,000 simulations looking at early pace numbers. A little bit of formula behind it. If I had to share it with you, as they used to say in the 80s, I'd have to kill you. All right, so in race number 1, we'll look at our race shape here. E are horses that want to pilot. They have to be on the lead to go to the win. So wire to the winner's circle. EPs can be pilots or co-pilots. Ps are the horses that are co-pilots. They don't pilot. They get to the front. I mean, they trail the front runners, but usually no more than 2 lengths. Pressure closer types can be within. Again, these are the most versatile. Really, this is the catch-all where they can go wire to wire. They can run off the pace. They can close. Closers are just that. They come from off the pace. And looking at that early speed, looks to me like the 5 horse is definitely the one that they're going to have to catch. If you combine early speed and late speed, does have a +8. Again, we talked yesterday about horses as they borderline 10. They become very competitive with that plus in the EP late pace. The horse we had yesterday at 7 got nosed out at the wire for the win, the 2 horse. So the 5 horse is definitely going to be competitive. 6 horse, if you're looking for one with a little bit of speed, late speed that is going to have an 8-point advantage over everybody else. Charles, take us through your first selections for the first race at Aqueduct today.
Yeah, that's exactly how your sheet was coming out. That's how I see it. The 5 is going to go to lead, I believe, with the 4 pressuring him all the way. The 5 horse ran second last time out. Well bet last time. You got Franco on this horse. This is going to be all the reasons why this horse is going to be below even money. The 4 horse definitely has a shot here in this race. This horse ran second last time out. The trainer gets 21% when he moves him from turf to dirt. And you got Kendrick on this horse. So Kendrick's very good, as we all well know, about getting him out of the gate. So let's watch for that horse. And like you said about the 6, that's my third choice here. He'll be flying late, adds blinkers today, so he's getting a little bit more focus. He gets Gomez. And then my price horse here today is the 3. This horse ran third last time out. He's got some tactical speed, and he cuts back in distance today.
Yeah, I think that 5 horse is just going to be really hard to beat, Charles, to be honest with you. Just looking at it, its top last race speed figure in the debut was a lot better than anything else that anybody else has run recently. Others are going to have to pop up, or it's going to have to regress badly for it not to win here. Number 1, Red DGP showed some quickness in its debut. Gets first-time LASIK, so I like to see that. Run back to its debut, and the horse could be competitive in here, the 1 horse. Number 4, Empire Sky is going to try dirt for the first time after 6 races on the turf. Trainer Kathleen Damasi, 21% when she takes a horse from turf to dirt. And then finally, number 6, Kalaloo. Improved enough in his second start with the early pace number. Showed a ton of late pace in its debut. So in a debut, a lot of end run. In the last race, second career start, a lot of early run. And then faded at the end. So you got to put the 2 together today. If you can connect race 1 and race 2, could be competitive. Charles does not have a bet in here. I'm going to single that 5 in a pick 5. I feel like that it could turn the pick 5 into a pick 4, but everybody's going to have that 5. The 5 in race 1 with the 1-4-5 in race 2, with the 1-2-3 in race 3, 5-7 in race 4, and then in the 5th race, the 1, 2, and 7. And our friend Jared's got the 4 horse here as his top pick. He's going to do a pick 5 as well with the 1-4-5, with the 1-4-5, with the 2. He's going to single up a 2 in that race there with the 1-5-8 and the 1-4-6. So those are Jared's thoughts. Quick question for you, Charles, before we move on here. Actually, Gene, no, my home track was Arlington, but they've since closed. So I guess that default now is Hawthorne. You're down in Kentucky, right, Charles? So you got quite a few options down there.
Yes, the closest one to me is Churchill.
And then Churchill for you. What do you use to handicap? I use Brisnet. What do you use?
Well, I use both. I use a Brisnet and I use the Daily Racing Form also.
And the Daily Racing Form. Yeah, I'm not all that crazy either. 2 lengths off of 23. He's not real fast. Off layoffs and second race trainer, not good. I agree. 2% second race. The thing about it, though, is, again, I've seen so many times, and it doesn't always work out that way, but a lot of times it does work out that way. And I think, I forget who, maybe it was Andy Serling, one of the few things that I've heard him say that I totally agree with. Well, only after the fact.
I was going to say, is that the only thing, maybe? Okay.
But he was talking about one day in a race where maybe it was, I think it was him when we were at Saratoga, but he was talking about how if a horse has such a big speed figure advantage over everybody else, it's not the end all be all number. But when it does, the other horses have to make it up. And since he said that, I've kind of had that in my mind and I pay attention to it. And it does prove to be accurate over and over and over and over again. Good morning, fellas. You need a big score today. Well, hopefully Charles will have a big one for you in store. I think it's going to be a day that could be kind of chalky, to be honest with you. Anybody handicap with bet mix? Haven't heard of it. Have you, Charles?
No, I have not.
I'll have to look into it and see what it's all about. I do. Plus, there's a lot of stuff I do on my own with data, and the data comes from Brisnet as well. So there's a lot of things I've learned along the way. Going to take a look at it. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at it. I read a lot of books, and then there's a site out there. It's called SSRN. I forget now if it's .org or .com, but it's a repository of research. And surprisingly, these professors that work at these universities, some of which are horse racing fans, they get grants, our tax money, to go ahead and study all kinds of weird things. And one of the things that I saw quite a few studies, horse racing. And there was a gentleman from Stanford, a PhD, who did a study on tens of thousands and tens of thousands of races and identified the 7 or 8 most predictive data points. So that's kind of where I start, and then I build from there.
Also for me, it's watching videos. Because if you're betting from home, it's hard to. I love looking at the horses. It has a lot for me, especially with the lower handicap levels. It's better to look at the horses. But when you're at home and they don't show your horses, it's kind of hard. So you have to go and look at videos and see how they ran their races.
Yeah, it could be a piggyback figure and beat, Gary. I don't know. I just running through it. That's where I ended up. I hope I'm right for the pick 5, but I hope for the betters. All right. One last thing before we move off to race number 2. Gene says your top book in terms of what you've read, Mr. Charles.
Well, I've kind of just skimmed through a couple of them, and I think it was I can't remember the name of it. Something about handicapping. I can't remember. You have the book.
If you're doing handicapping horse
No,
racing,
I know, but
it certainly wouldn't want it to be about like love affairs.
Well, that too. But no, you have the book. You showed me the book once.
So it depends on what you're looking for. So a couple different things.
We see that one.
This is betting thoroughbreds. The best thing about this book is in the back, there's an appendix on exotic wagering strategies. I think it's the best book that I've seen in terms of betting strategies. If you're into data like I am, Barry Meadows, The Skeptical Handicapper is a good book. There's another book that I use. So when I do those little race shapes, I learned that here from Extreme Pace Handicapping with the E's, the EP, so you can get a sense of what the race shape might look out, which horse might have a good advantage. And then there's another interesting book by a guy by the name of Mark Kramer called Thoroughbred Cycles. And those are just a couple that I've read along the way, as well as others and those white papers. All right, so got into a little bit of a tangent there. Let's go on to race number 2, which is 7 furlongs, claiming 35,000 non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is 45 grand. It is a 7 furlong race, which favors tactical speed. Only 18% of these horses went wire to wire. 1, 2, and 3, those post positions get a discount. 4 and out, a little bit of a bonus. And the farther you are out, the better. So 6 would be better than 5, would be better than 4. In this case, Charles. And speaking of that 4, King James, one who has books, but apparently doesn't read them very much. But in any case, it looks like that might be the one that gets to the front.
Yeah, the 4 horses got a 43% chance of getting to the lead at the quarter pole. I actually kind of see that a little bit. But there's plenty other horses that have speed in this race. You got the 5 that shows almost 24%, and you got the 3 with the 16%, and the 1 with 14%. So they all going to be challenging. No one's going to have an easy time at it, it looks like. And then when it comes to the simulation odds, the 1 is probably right where it belongs. Everyone else is probably a little bit overplayed. Oh, if the 4 slightly overlay is basically almost 5-1 odds, simulation odds, and you're getting morning line at 6.
Yeah, David Aragona, the morning line setter, we've had him on Horse Center a couple times. The man is probably one of the best morning line makers in the business. So I would pay attention to his odds, because there's been times I've looked at odds and I thought, man, what's going on here? This horse doesn't look like it on paper. And then a lot of times they run to David's odds. He also does some handicapping for time form as well for NYRA. Definitely a man that knows what he's doing. You got a couple bets here, Charles. What do you got?
Yeah, well, first you want me to run down my horses?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can-
Before we do that, yeah, I'm getting too many other things on my mind.
That's
So
right.
out of that Extreme Pace Handicapping book, there's some versions online you can get PDF. It's only like a $10 book in Amazon. There aren't really any horses that need to pilot all the way around the track, although the EP types, the 1 and the 6, are very capable of doing that. The pressure horse here are the 3 and the 5. Got a left arrow horse over here with the 4 horse, one that typically closes, but does have a little bit of an early pace edge at 2 furlongs. So you might want to keep an eye on that. And then over here, this 1 horse has a pretty good late pace advantage, even though it's an EP horse. So that 1 horse, I think, can get a fantastic trip and be very difficult to catch and or pass. Charles, now we can get to your picks because I'm not disoriented any longer.
Yeah, well, in this race, I don't think anyone is going to pass the 1. I think the 1's going to take the lead. I think he could battle it out. If he doesn't take the lead, he'll be sitting second right behind the 4. So anyway, this horse drops in class today, ran second last time out. You got Kendrick aboard. It just screams winner, winner, chicken dinner here for me. My second pick here is the 5. This horse does have some speed also. Well bet last time, claimed last time, ran second last time out. So the horse is like a now horse. My third pick is the 2. The 2 horse here has some of that tactical speed. One last time out. The hot jockey and trainer combo, 14 in the last 14 days. And then my price horse here today is the 3. Has a little tactical speed, drops in class today, but has been off for 9 months. Has some solid works, and why he's probably been off for 9 months is because he's a first-time gelding.
So he's just learning to walk again. All right. So what are your wagers here?
Okay, so my wagers here are I got a pick 4 going here, and I started off with just the 1, singling the 1 in this race. And in the third race, the second leg here, I'm singling the 1 again. And then in the third leg, I got the 1, 4, 5, 7. And then the final leg, the fourth leg, is I got the 1, 2, 6, 7. And plus, I have a win bet on my 1 here, 25. There's a lot of horses I like today, but this is probably the main one.
So, Barry, there's one of the big hit, hopefully, for you today. Compliments of Charles. For me, in race number 2, I had the 5 horse first. This one ran a little bit better times at 6.5 furlongs last time out versus 6 furlongs in the previous race. Does have some really nice workouts between races. And then Good Skate, the 1 horse, is my second choice. Does have the top last race speed figure and drops in class. This likely to upgrade his game today in round 2 off the bench. And when you put, as Gary mentioned here, Creations, Kendrick and trainer Michelle Giangiolio together, they won 4 out of 5 and in the money 5 out of 5. So that is absolutely a phenomenal combination. So when they get together, they get the work done, in the words of, I can't remember that rapper's name anyway. Number 3 is my, number 4, excuse me, King James is my third pick. It is a left arrow horse, was better across the board with its pace numbers internally in that race last time out. And Charles' favorite angle, third off of the bench. Finally, number 2, Amadeus Music, 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. And trainer Jeffrey Engelhart wins at 27%. When his horse wins in claiming, and then he puts him in claiming once again. I have a 50-cent try with the 145, with the 1-5, with the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to do a 50-cent pick 4 with my top 2 picks across the next 4 races. 1-5 here, 1-3 up next. And then in race number 4, the 5-7. And in race number 5, otherwise known as the race of death, the 1 and 7. Charles, you know why it's the race of death?
Because you have it in both of your pick 4s if you're playing them.
Yes, it connects the first to the end. It's the last of the first one and the first of the last one.
So that's one race you have to get.
It's almost should always be an all button just so you can get through, right?
Yeah.
So you don't kill 2 tickets at once. Race number 3 is 6 furlongs again, like the opener. It's a claiming for 8,000. The purse is 22 grand. Quickly, again, we take a look at I don't know what in the world happened here, but something funny happened up in here. In any case, this should say horse, not $sign, right? All right, so there we go. I'll fix that even a little bit more. At 6 furlongs on the Aqueduct course, early speed with almost 40% going wire to wire. There is a little bit of an upgrade if you ride that rail. 2 and 3, a little bit of a downgrade. 4 through 7, go back up. 8 and out. Again, a little bit of a underperformance. Charles, you singled up the 1 in your pick 4. You went 1-1, and looks like the 1 is going to be the single choice to get to the lead.
Yeah, and I got him even in my bets as my key horse too. So this horse has got basically 88% chance of having the lead at the at the quarter pole. I definitely see that happening, and it'd be very hard to pass this horse at the end. So the odds are simulation odds are saying the same thing that basically slightly over even money.
About 65,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah. So and right now morning line says 2-1. I think you're going to get much closer to those simulation odds. But you have the 4 horse that's kind of a little bit of an overlay, uh, slightly, and then the same thing with the 5 horse. So those two might be possible good place to put in with exactas or whatnot, or even a little win and place bets.
In the second, in race number 3, this race is really kind of everybody's forwardly placed. If you look at the running styles, you see everybody wants to lead or pressure the lead. The 1 horse is the one that's likely to set the tone. It does have a plus advantage at 4 furlongs. So with 2 furlongs to go, the 1 horse should be the one that's up there. Does have some late legs with the 3rd best late pace numbers. The 5 horse, which is an EP type, probably going to be pretty patient. Runners sit behind this wall of speed, try to use those late legs to come through. The 2 horse of this group here is the one that has the best combination of early speed and late speed. So although that 1 looks like it's going to be dominant on the front, it's going to have a lot of company. So I think this could be a pretty tactical race, or as some people call it, I was going to say feeple. I don't know what a feeple is, but some people call it a jockey's race. I can see it being a jockey's race, but you really like that 1 a lot.
Yeah, I really do. And plus he's got the rail. I think I like a lot of things about this race for the 1. The 1 has, like we said, the speed. He won last time out. He drops in class today. So I think he's going to be very tough to beat. The 2 horse is my second pick here. This horse ran 3rd last time out. Yeah, like you stated, everyone has kind of speed in here. So that goes without saying. This horse was claimed last time out. The trainer gets 44% when he drops in a claim. So from a claim, I should say. And then the 3 horse is my 3rd choice here. Horse drops in class. This is second after a layoff for this horse. So you got to get ready to rock and roll. And then my price horse here is the 5. Even simulation odds says this might be a good bet to place. The 5 drops in class today, second after a layoff. And like we said, this horse has got a little bit of that tactical speed. Should be sitting right there and trying to pounce at the end.
In race number 3, I'm going to go ahead and get started off with that 1 horse to Lohengrin 2. Top last race speed figure. Does have some really good workouts since then. Works got better and better the closer he got to today's start. I'd like to see that. And I think this horse is going to try to go wire to wire. That's its way to the winner's circle. Number 3, Casala, dropping in class. Had a really fast workout. 35 and 2 for 3 furlongs on January the 7th. So clearly they're going to send this one when the gates open. Number 2, Poppy's Pride. Better from start to finish in its last race. Trainer Thomas Morley has won 4 of 9 starts when dropping a horse off of a claim. And then number 5, Cavaradossi, excuse me. Most late pace in the races we talked about in the Way to the Winner's Circle worksheet. This one should be a little bit sharper today than it was last time out, which was its first race after more than a year in the bench. Our guy Jared likes the 2 horse here as his top pick with the 3, the 1, and the 7 behind it. Forgot to tell you in race number 2, Charles, Jared agrees with you on that 1 horse.
Great mind think alike.
Yes.
And then, boy, you tried to. Here we have I bet a $5 double with the 1 on top here. To the next leg is the 145.
I have a 50-cent try 1, 2, 3 over to 1, 3 with the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. Charles, kind of try to stay stationary because as you move around, at least I'm hearing your microphone's kind of going in and out. You sound like you're talking through a tunnel at times. All right.
Okay.
Race number 4 is next up on the list. They got a couple scratches here. The 6 out, Night Saber. Number 8, Tap It Out, is also on the sidelines. He tapped out apparently today. They're trying to get Dana White to tap out as well from his antics on New Year's Eve. I should be held accountable, right?
Yep.
Race number 4, 6.5 furlongs, maiden claiming 20,000, purse of 32 grand at 6.5 furlongs. The type of horse that typically wins does have a little bit of early speed. There is a rail penalty. So if you ride in that rail, they house your cash flow. Might not be so good on that rail. Looking at the big edge, an 8 and out. But again, with the scratches, we don't get there today. Charles, the horse that was going to take the lead's not in this race. So it looks like that's going to fall to maybe the 1A and the 5.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see. I think the 5 a little bit, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who actually takes the lead on this. And then when it comes to simulation odds, with these two scratches, it's going to be hard to say. But right now, I think it's the 7 is the most overlay right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had to redo it, who knows how much that would be different then.
I'm working on it so that I can actually do that here in Google Sheets, but I haven't quite figured out the math the way it's saying. It's not really the math. It's kind of like the structure of how it all works to do simulations. And I haven't quite figured it out in Google Sheets yet, but I will. And when I do, we'll be able to update it right on the spot. We'll be able to take out a horse, press a button, and boom, it'll recalculate everything for us. But since the 8 is out, we can take a look at which horses might want to in race number 4. The 6 is also one that might have been competitive for the lead. It's not going to do that today. The 8, this one's not in here either. So I think maybe that's going to go to the 5 horse. According to my most recent seat in terms of early pace, that looks like it's the 5. You got a bunch of horses kind of moving around in class. The 1A is dropping in class. The down arrow, the 4 horse is dropping in class. The 7 is dropping into class. The 1 is making its first start. The 2 here dropping in class, but so far really hasn't shown too much in terms of heart to win. Maybe that changes today, Charles, but maybe not. What do you got?
Well, I got the 5 as my first choice here. This horse drops in class. Trainer gets 30% when he drops them down 2 classes or more. And then this is second after a layoff for this horse. So this horse is going to be a little tough. And like you said, after the scratches, he might find himself on the lead. The 4 horse is my second choice. The horse drops. Jockey is 12% overall, and he's got some tactical speed. And when it came to my third and fourth choice, basically it was a coin flip for me. I ended up with the 7 right now as my third choice, but it really doesn't matter. I really think it's between the 5 and the 4. The 7 horse drops. The trainer gets 23% when he drops him down 2+ levels. Got a hot jockey in the last 7 days. And then I'm going to look at that 1 horse. I'll talk about the 1 horse here. This horse has got solid works. Dam has 4 winners from 5 starters. You get Franco. I think that's the stronger of the 2. So that's why I'm talking about that one.
I have the 7 horse Miss Mialia. Does have a pretty strong late pace advantage over the rest of this group. Is dropping multiple classes in here after running the top last race speed figure. And I don't really see it. There'll be some pace, but I think the 7 won't be all that far off. Number 5 will be famous. Did run better 2 and 4 for long pace numbers in its last race. And the resume says that the 5 horse will be even faster today in its second start off the break. Number 1, how's your cash flow? First time starter. I'll give him a chance here because I really don't think after the 5 and the 7 there's a whole lot to beat. Number 2, my gorgeous. And quite frankly, I felt like you could put any other horse that was remaining into the spot. Its best run was in its debut. Came out in race number 2, kind of blew a tire, went back to the bench. So maybe it can repeat what it did in its debut. Maybe it's one of those horses that runs fresh, goes back to the barn, gets a little R&R, comes back and runs fresh. And that's the type of horse the 2 horse is. So I'm going to do a 50-cent try with the 157, with the 5-7, with the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7, and you're going to do a pick 5 in our $100 challenge.
Yeah, I'm doing a pick 5 here, which is unusual for me. It's mainly because of this 8 horse getting scratched out of this race. I'm just going to go with my top 4 horses here, 1, 4, 5, and 7, and then I hit the all button in the next race, and then I hit my single in the third leg, a single in the fourth leg, and then I go my top two in the last leg.
We continue to be international. Hi, Jay. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in all the way from India. Thank you for your time, for sure. We appreciate that. For our guy, Jared, in race number 4, his top pick is the 5 horse, Will Be Famous. Maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking for him that he'll be famous one day. All right. Race number 5 coming up is, again, 6.5 furlongs. Another maiden claiming. This one's for $40,000. Again, 6.5 furlongs does favor some early speed. Looks like you don't necessarily want to ride the rail, though Charles is not deterred whatsoever at all. A little bit of a penalty if you're also through 2 through 7, just a little under par. 8 and out would be best. Again, doesn't come into play today. Good Morning Kiss is scratched. We don't have simulation. Too many first-time starters in here. Too many horses with maybe just one run. Really screws up the back-end math. So we'll just jump straight to what the race shape could look like in race number 5. And I think there's a significant scratch here with the 4 coming out. Was a horse that did show some early speed. Of those that had a little bit of experience, the 2 horses, the one that does have the most late energy, we really don't know what to expect out of any of these first-time starters. Some clues maybe in their workouts. Charles, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a first-time starter, the 1 horse here. This horse has got solid works. I really like that. This horse, Dam, has 2 winners from 3 starters, and one of them's a stakes horse. This horse is bred for speed, and you even got Kendrick aboard, so you got a lot of things going for this horse. So yeah, I'm not scared of the rail here. The 6 horse is my second choice. This horse does drop in class. Bred very well. Trainer gets 21%, so you can't overlook this horse. And then my third choice here is the 2. The 2 horse drops also in class. You get some solid works. Rudy gets 18% when he's got 46 plus days off. So you got a fresh horse. Got Franco aboard. Look out.
And then he was on fire last week. I think he won every
wasn't he
race.
ever?
Yeah.
You might as well just hit Franco on your ticket everywhere. And my price horse here is the 7. The 7 horse has some speed back at the claim level that he was claimed at, and you get a little bit of a weight break. So that might be just enough to get this horse home.
Interesting. Your long shot is my first pick, the 7. This one, Blanchiment, does have did run the top last race speed figure last time out on the track. So that's a good sign that the horse can compete with these. Does have a ton of early speed. So this one I think is going to be the one that gets out into the front. Minus the horses that have never raced before. It could be lone speed without a whole lot of pressure on front in a race that's devoid of speed. So kind of check that out. And I do think that weight break will help him carry the speed even farther today. Number 1, April Spritz, first-time starter. Real nice work on December the 18th. 3 furlongs and 35-3. Indication to me that they'll send this horse. And yes, as you mentioned, Kendrick Carmouche on a speed horse. Sign me up. Yes, sir. Number 2, Queens over 3s. Again, gets a good hand, I guess. Just needs to run back to its debut. Okay work so far. Getting ready for the first race after a little bit of time in the barn. And then finally, number 8, I have no idea. Postelequent, I don't know. First-time starter, and quite honestly, I don't think it has a whole lot to beat in this race. I'm going to do a pick 4 with the 1-7, with the 2, 5, 8, and 9. I hope none of those first-time starters outside the 1 shocks me. Then in race number 7, the 1A, 1, 3, and 5, and then to close it out with the 4 and 6. For our friend Jared in race number 5, he says, look out for that 1 horse. It is his top pick. All right, and now we'll skip forward to race number 6. And in race, I don't know what, sometimes when you press buttons on your computer, all kinds of crazy things happen. But race number 6 is 6 furlongs, Charles. At 6 furlongs, again, you want early speed because horses with early speed win about 39% of the time. Again, you get a little bit of a bump if you ride the rail in this case. 2 and 3, a little bit of a drop. 4 through 7, come back up again, and 8 and out. So Quick Flash and Majestic Tiger could have a little bit of a disadvantage in this 6 furlong race. Charles, it looks like Storm Shooter will be shooting out of the gates when they open.
Yeah, just slightly over 50% chance to have lead at the quarter pole, which is pretty doggone good if you ask me. And then The 2 might be pressuring a little bit, according to this, at 24%. And then you got a couple others, the 8 and the 5, that are going to might do some damage too. So when it comes to speed, and then when it comes to simulation odds, we're looking at looks like wow, just the 8. 8 is basically even money at simulation odds, and we're getting 2-1 right now. And you might get close to 2-1 in this race.
So when I say price horse, Gene, I mean a horse that has good odds. And typically, and we've had a conversation about this before in terms of where value starts for some people. I think if I remember correctly, Charles, you were at 4-1. And for me, it's 5-1. So anything that pays double digits and above for me is value. And I think you did say you were at 4-1, right?
Yes, correct.
So that's what I mean by price horse, a horse with a little bit higher odds. Race number 6, our race shape shows a little bit of a good balance in here. You got 2 horses that want to get to the front in the 2 and the 8. You have a bunch that want to ride right in the middle. So the 2 and the 8 should get the trip they want. The 1, the 4, the 5, and the 7 should get the trip that they want. The 9 horse looks like it's a lone closer. I think it could have a little bit of an edge in here if it had some late speed. It didn't show that the most because this group here should be tightly packed. And so far, the 3 and the 6 haven't really done much to encourage me to add them to my tickets, Charles. So I think there's a good shot. Maybe the 2 or 8, one of those 2 should have a pretty good shot to go wire to wire. They may not win, but they should be competitive from start to finish. How do you got it?
Yeah, I really like the 8 here in this race. I think it's kind of setting it up for this horse. This horse could take the lead, or he could just sit second or third and just wait his time. This horse is dropping in class today. He ran second. This is his second after a layoff. Like I said, he has that tactical speed. So, I mean, this horse is very dangerous. My second choice is the 2 here. This horse ran second last time out, has some of that speed, drops in class. So that one could be in there for some of the exotics. The 9 horse, the closer most likely. He has that closing tactical speed. Ran second last time out, drops in class today. And then my price horse here will be the 7. He probably might get the lead. I believe he will. If not, he'll be second for a while. Then he'll be off. But he drops in class today. He was well bet this last time out. So they're thinking that he's going to do something big.
All right. And you have some bets in here too, right?
Yes, I have a $10 double. My single here in the 8, and I got another single in the next race.
So you basically went ice cold double, ice cold exacta.
8-2.
There you go. So Charles is feeling it pretty good today. An ice bath for Charles.
That's right.
I like the 8 horse too. Quick flash at Aqueduct. But what I don't like, it doesn't win a lot at Aqueduct, but he does perform well at Aqueduct. He's been out 11 times, 1 win, 5 seconds, and 3/3. So quick math says that is 9 out of 11. Boy, I almost screwed that up. I was going to say 10 at first, and then my brain went, no, Richard. Did show better pace numbers from gate to wire in its last start. Number 5, Brunate. Ran some similar fractions at 6.5 furlongs, like it did at 6 furlongs. So if you run longer, but your fractions are the same, in my world, that's faster. And then after that race, so after running faster in a race, it put in a really good workout. So that's a tip off to me. The horse is in good form. Number 9, Majestic Tiger is a lone closer in a field that wants to be middle or forward. So you could see that horse get a piece. I don't know if it has enough energy or juice to get to the winner's circle, but I do think a really strong candidate to factor in the exotics. And then finally, number 1, Turns and Conditions does have number 2, Turns and Conditions. Top early pace, late pace combination in the field. Did run that top last race speed figure last time out at Del Mar, but that barn for Gary Sakaya only won 1 out of 23 races so far to start 2023. So not off to the best start. Hope for him that improves today, just not in this race. 50-cent trifecta with the 5, the 8, and the 9, with the 5-8, with the 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9. And it looks like our friend Jared in race number 6 likes the 5 horse as his top pick, with the 8 and the 7 coming in second and third. And he said he got up early in the morning and did this just for us today, Charles, for our benefit. So I greatly appreciate his graciousness. In race number 7, they're going to run a mile and an eighth, optional claiming $45,000. Non-winners 1. Purse is $82,000. So they're running for a pretty good chunk of change here, Charles. At the mile and a eighth distance. Oh God, I wish I could read. I said a mile and a 16th. A mile and an eighth. I need to get my eyes fixed. Mile and an eighth. The speed bias is in play here. Only 19% of which, though, went wire to wire. So a little more tactical speed than front end speed. 1 through 7 play fair, but if you wear an 8 or an out, you do catch a pretty big bonus. The 1A should be on the outside out there, Charles, and he should be one of those horses that you got to run down.
Yeah, that horse should be winging it, slightly over 59%. And they're saying the 8 horse has a shot to at least keep him honest, and that's probably true. In my opinion, it's those 2 horses out in front, but I do believe the 1A will take the lead. And then when it comes to odds, 1A, slightly over even money. It's morning line is 3-1. Of course, that morning line will go down, I believe, because of the combination package. It's pretty strong package there. And then that's about it. Yeah, the 3 is about where it should be. So when it comes to simulation odds, that's it.
Yeah, David Aragona, as I said, he's pretty good at this, putting the odds together. The interesting thing about the 1 and the 1A, as we're going to see here in just a second, is that they're at opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of the pace shape setup. The 1A should be a part of what could be a pretty hot pace, though. I think, even though he might get the lead, going to have plenty of company from the 5, the 8, and the 7. Could burn him. If he does burn him, the 1, and maybe that's why they're sending him out there, the 1A, is to burn these other speed horses, because the 1 is a closer that has a 6-point late pace advantage. Could set up nicely for this 3 horse to sit behind all of these horses that are just going to be flying when they get going. Does have the top early speed, late speed combination in the field. Plenty of horses to work out fast fractions in front of it. Will be in front of the 1, so maybe the 3 can get a really nice trip. Charles, does it get a place in your ticket?
The 3 does not get a place in my ticket. But the 1 and 1A is a strong entry. Like you just finished saying, the 1 won last time out, got claimed last time out, and this horse will be closing. The 1A, like you said, it's got the speed. He'll be on winging it. Drops in class. He gets Gomez. If I had to lean to one of the horses, I'd go with the 1. I think the 1A will be flying with the 8 for sure. But when you get both of them, you never know. He might take off and go wire to wire. The 4 here is my second choice. Won last time out. Got that tactical speed. You got a hot jockey last 7 days. And then the 6 horse has some of that speed to stay with them. Won last time out, second after a layoff. And then my price horse is the 8. The other speed horse was claimed last time out. Rice gets 22% first after a claim. So that's a good number, and she's really good at the claim box. So you got to watch out for that horse.
And then take us through your bets as I correctly spell trifecta in here.
Okay. I have a $10 double. My single here, the 1, and the 1A, of course, with the 6 in the next race for $10. And then I did a try with the 1 on top to the 4-6-8 to the 4-6-8.
So to answer your question, Gene, Jared's just a friend of ours. He's been on the show before as a guest host when folks have been absent for whatever reason. And then he also works with Sean and I on Friday nights. We do football picks. So on football picks, you definitely want to fade him. You want to fade me lately too. I couldn't get anything right. Although I do think things could get better because I feel like I'm turning it around a little bit. Basketball, I've put some stuff up on Twitter, and the other night I thought I tweeted it out, but I've hit, let's see, 3, 5, 6, and then I have 7 of my last 8 selections. Again, all simulations from the computer have won in the NBA. So I'll post some NBA stuff tonight too. So if you like to bet the NBA, you can check that out. If you like to bet college basketball, you can check out our friend, The Picks with the Professor. Link down below. Professor Sides, a statistics professor, puts all of his models together for college basketball and hockey now that college football is over. He'll get his game back too for the Major League Baseball. Definitely lights out with baseball. In my view for race number 7, I like the 4 horse, Carragate. This horse has put a bunch of really consistent performances together and has 3 really I think, strong workout since his last race. The 1A I prefer over the 1, Baby Mama at Aqueduct 3 times. Won 2 of them, and those 2 wins were both wire to wire. So Baby Mama is going to get to Baby Man, going to get to the front today again and have a chance to make it 3 out of 4 at Aqueduct, taking him from tape to tape. Number 3, Spiked at her best. Quite frankly, I think this one can make easy work of this field. As a robust trio of workouts since that last race on November the 25th, that's one to me that you got to be a little bit cautious of. Number 1, Suspended Campaign would be here is my 4th choice if the 1A were to scratch, but it's not. On the other, it's just the closer with that big late pace advantage versus a bunch of horses that want to be up in front. But because the 1 and 1A go into that second spot, number 5, Mercy Mercy Me, a little bit of Marvin Gaye. 4 consecutive speed figure increases, won her last 3 races. That's a pretty good number right there. And what I like about this horse is it's running on dirt today, Charles, and it's all or nothing. Been 8 times out on dirt and won 5 of them. 5 out of 8, that's a hell of a good number. 62.5% win percentage on the dirt. You can't beat that. And I'm going to have a 50-cent trifecta with the 1, 1A, 3, 4 with the 1, 1A, 4 with the 1, 1A, 3, 4, 5. I probably should have put that 5 in the front because it's an all or nothing horse and kind of rearrange that bet a little bit to reflect its all or nothingness. And our good friend Jared in race number 7, he has the 3 horses, his top pick. So he's going to go along with that horse at its best, as I mentioned, could make easy work. The final race today at the New York track is the 8th race. This one is 6 furlongs. We talked a little bit about having early speed. The post positions are ones that tend to favor horses that are on the rail. 2 and 3, a little bit of a struggle. 4 through 7, get a little bit of bump again. 8 and up are underperformance. So maybe Carly Hustle and Idaka could struggle a little bit in here, Charles. But it certainly does look like that speed is on the inside. Maybe a little bit of a challenge from Idaka.
Yeah, well, the 3 horses got a 49% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. But you do have 2 other horses that could challenge him, and that would be the 1 and the 8. So, he's not going to have an easy time, I don't think. But right now, the 3 has the speed, and I think the 3 will have the lead, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And then when it comes to simulation odds, you got the 1, basically 2 to, well, yes, almost
about
2 to
8
1.
to 5.
Yeah. And he's got 2.5 to 1.
Well,
and you
closer
got
to
the
9
2,
to 5, I'd say. Yeah.
Look at the 2 horse. I mean, you got 8 to 1 simulation odds, and it's 15 morning line. And then you got the 4, 2.5, to 4 to 1 odds. And then that's about, the 9.
The 9, maybe a little bit of a
Overlay there.
value in there too. 30 to 1 money line, 16
to 1 to 30 to 1. So, you got some value in here when it comes to simulation odds.
Maybe you might want to put that 9 in the back end of your exactas, trifectas, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In the final race, the way it shapes up, again, you got a lot of speed in here. In the 9 horses, 7 of them want to be middle forward. You're going to have a bunch that want to compete for the lead with the 1, the 3, the 8. They all have a lot of early pace. The 5 horse could get a really nice trip just sitting right behind there as an EP type. Let these guys determine the speed. If they go too fast, he can tail off. If they go too slow, can take the lead because he has the versatility. 4 horse should get a really nice trip too, right behind all that speed as a pressure type with the top late pace in this field. And the 2 and 9, if that whole group just really burns it up, those 2 should be charging at the end with the closing kick. All right, Charles, kick in your picks for race number 9.
Well, for me, I like the 6 horse as my first pick. This horse, like your chart said, I think he's going to be sitting back there just close enough to the leaders so he could pounce when he needs to. This horse drops in class today. Claim last time out. You got a trainer that gets 27% first after the claim. So, everything says a go on this horse. The 1 horse, to me, is probably the top speed horse the 3 is very good too. So, but I think the 1 will have the speed, drops in class, hot trainer for the last 14 days. You got Kendrick aboard the 1. So I think that one will have the lead. The 3 will be pressuring, I believe, has the speed to do that. Ran 3rd last time out, claimed 2 back. So This horse is a hot commodity. And then you got my price horse, which is the 4. He's sort of like the 6. He's almost identical. Ran third last time out. He drops in class, and he could sit just off of that lead and pounce when he needs to.
All right, well, let's close out the final picks for me in the day at Aqueduct. Left-leaning Lucy, the 4 horse, is going to get my top pick. Top last race speed figure. Going to drop in class after running a race with better pace numbers through the first half mile. Also has the top late pace and the best early pace, late pace combination. So horse has a lot of positives against this field of speed. Number 6, Princess Pinky. First off the claim for trainer Rob Atras. At Aqueduct, this horse has run 9 times, got 3 seconds and 3/3. Looking for its first win. And I think based upon Rob's off the claim numbers and the way he likes to do things out of that Robertino Diodoro training tree, I think you're going to see him put this horse a little bit closer to the front today. Number 1, Sweetest Sugar. Again, big fan of Kendrick Carmouche on Speed Horse. This one's all or nothing with its speed at the distance. 4 times out, 2 wins, nothing else to show for it. And quite frankly, after that horse, I think you can put them all in there. But I decided that Hidaka looked like the best of the rest to me. Maybe should put the 9 in there for those overlay odds in your trifectas. But I only had $4 left. So I did a 50-cent try, 4-6 with the 1-4-6 with the 1-4-6-8. Maybe I should switch out that 8 for the 9 based upon that chart there, Charles. So that wraps up all of our picks. I know that Jared in this race, he likes the 1 horse as well. Our full picks for the Aqueduct card, they looked like this, Charles. What are your thoughts on this card overall?
You better, the one, you better come in, huh? It's all about the 1.
All about the 1 for Charles today. Absolutely, for sure. And if you're going to go bet today at Charlestown, it's all about Charlestown today as a free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There's a link in the description down below. So tonight, you're sitting around trying to figure out where to spend all the money Charles made for you with his 1 horses today.
You just go to my town.
Yeah, just go right over there to Charlestown. So yeah, Charles's town. They named it after him. With a medium income of about $4,000. Perfect. Just kidding. It's probably $400,000. But in Charlestown, first race, number 5, Wolf Creek Pass is at best bet. Hey, 9-2 morning line odds. Also, a place we found that if you like horse racing, it's Winning Touch Equestrian Gifts. It's kind of a long URL. I'll put a link to that as well in the description. Some really interesting things in here. For example, if you like American Pharoah, you can get some American Pharoah pictures, memorabilia. Also in here for little kids, if your little kids like horse racing, some sticker books. I don't know, when my kids were little, they absolutely love stickers, and horse racing would be a good thing, I feel like. And then finally, if you want to help support the show, there is a link in the description down below. Soon you'll see our gear showed up down there for horse racing today. It would be a great way to help support us. Go ahead and pick up your horse racing today merchandise. I want to say thank you to the folks who have recently bought some stuff. We really appreciate your support and hope to see more people when we show up at the track in February at Tampa Bay Downs and Gulfstream Park. Some folks sporting pride with the horse racing today gear. Tomorrow, Charles, we won't be here. I'll be at a handicapping contest. Maybe we'll be here Saturday. If we're here Saturday, it means I won yesterday, qualified to go to Las Vegas. If I'm not here Saturday, it means I didn't win. So I'm trying to qualify again, Charles, to head off to Vegas for that national handicapping contest. Where do you go to become a good handicapper? To be honest with you, Gene, I think the best advice that I can give you in terms of handicapping and what I've done to get better and try to sharpen my saw, as Stephen Covey says in the 7 Effective Habits of Highly Effective People or Successful People. What I try to do is I keep notes of everything that I do, and you can follow them over on horseracingtoday.net. And then I go back and look to see what's kind of working and what's not working, and review when the races are over to see what I got right, to see what I got wrong, what I missed, how I missed it. And I think sometimes the best thing that you can have in your toolbox is just to say that you can't pick every winner in horse racing. That's impossible. And that sometimes the game is going to beat you. And to be able to recognize that under no circumstances would you have been able to pick the horse that beats you. As long as you have a consistent, repeatable way of selecting your horses over time. And then what you have to do too is you have to figure out what what horses work for you and what your return is, so you know how much to bet. That's the second thing. So I keep notes to see what's working. I do a little bit more of that. I see what's not working. I eliminate that, and that's how I get better. So how would you recommend becoming a better handicapper?
Yeah, well, I basically some along the same lines there, but what I've done in the past is when I handicap and I have found a system, like you said, you find a certain style that works for you, and when you get beat one day, like bad, I go back to every one of those races and I look at the horses that beat me and what did I miss? And sometimes you didn't miss anything. Sometimes that's just the way it is, you know. There's some things that you just cannot control in this game, but the more that you listen to people that have been there, done that, and the more studying you do and going to the track as much as you can, I know it's hard these days, but the more you do all these things, the better you're going to be down the road for this.
I'll also say too, I've learned a lot from our guest on Horse Center, and we used to do the Player's Edge podcast, because we have on jockeys, we have on trainers, we have on owners, we've had on TVG personalities that make their living making picks and conversing like we do. And you pick up a little bit of nuggets from everybody if you kind of listen along the way. If you go through and you rank out the horses and you kind of get a sense of who's going to go to the front, that's how I created the Left Arrow horse, just purely accidental. And it's worked, proven to be a very effective way to find horses. They may not all win, but a lot of them do run at good prices in the money. I could just think the other day with Terry and I joked about how the 4 horse is going to beat him in his trifecta. So it's a Left Arrow horse. Well, it beat me too, because I had it as my 4th pick, not my 3rd or 2nd pick in the way I structure my tickets together. One of the things that we're going to do right around the Kentucky Derby, though, Gene, is we're going to do a handicapping webinar where we're going to talk about putting together different pieces of the race. I'll talk a little bit about race structure and some data. We're going to have Terry talk about some old-fashioned angles. We're going to have Charles bring his perspectives as a trainer. So if you're at the track, what you're looking for in horses, we're going to have Tom talk a little bit about international handicapping, and all that will come up right around the Kentucky Derby when the interest in horse racing is at its peak. So we'll make note of that on our social sites, so you can see that down below. Horse Race, the number 2 day, Horse Race 2 day, right here on YouTube at Horse Racing Radar TV. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't. And then any final thoughts before you get out of here?
No, yeah. So just keep tuned for that if you want to learn some more. Like you said, right before the Kentucky Derby, we will show you pretty much everything we can teach you about, and maybe answer every question that we probably didn't even think of to put in our little seminar.
So, Ralph, when you say conservative numbers is my system, do you mean small bets with big payoffs? So that's really for me when it comes to betting. If I really like something, I'm not afraid to bet a lot of money on it. But my strategy at the track has always been, I have a budget for the day. And that's where we came up with the $100, the budget challenge, because we figured people go to the track with some multiple of 100, right? I feel like in today's inflation, you're going with at least $100, right? Or 200 or 500 or 1,000, but you have some unit of 100 that you're heading to the track with. So what I like to do is I like to set out in advance what I'm going to bet, kind of like we've done here today. And if I start to win early, so if I'm betting, if I'm at the track or I'm sitting down on a Saturday afternoon and I'm trying to make some money at the track, I'll start off with exactas at first, see if I can build my bankroll. Then I'll move into trifectas or small price trifectas. If I can build my bankroll at the end of the card, then I'll start trying to hammer a nice pick 4, pick 5 or something like that to go home with the bang. The whole idea for me is to try to generate a positive ROI, so that, so many people I know that play the track, they lose all of their money. To me, that's not the point.
Yeah, and I kind of do the same thing. But I start off with win bets. But if there's like an exacta or even a pick 4 that I really do like, I'll go ahead and play it if it's early. But I do sort of what you said. I do more of a win bet and to build up my money so I could really lay it out at the end and see what I could cash in at.
My best friend growing up, Joe, his father, Mr. Don, he was a professional blackjack player. I've probably told the story 1,000 times, but it was definitely influential on me as far as risk taking is concerned. And he would always tell me, Rich, he said to me, you want to have more money on your winning hands than on your losing hands. And I said, Mr. G, that's not possible, because if you knew which hands were going to win, then you would go ahead and you would only bet the ones that would win, and you'd sit out the ones that are going to lose. And he told me that's not the point. It's all about money management. So anytime you're gambling, you're doing risk, whether it's the stock market, horse racing, betting football, whatever it is you're doing, you have to have a proper money management system. So that's what I try to use. Some good books on money management include the Betting Thoroughbreds, because again, to me, that book had the best, what I've read of the countless things that I've read, had the best way of managing your money and structuring bets. So you can pick that book up on Amazon. I think it's like $25. All right, Charles, I think we rambled on enough at the end here. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here? And I head to a contest and you head to some honeydew work.
Yeah, I'm heading to honeydew work, but rain today. Yay. So I don't have to worry about the honeydew work today. So yeah, everyone just be safe out there with the weather changing out there constantly, and let's get some winners.
Yes, indeed. Say a little prayer for me that I can be at my best tomorrow at the handicapping contest and return on Saturday with Charles for some more picks and a free trip to Las Vegas. If you don't see me Saturday, well, then hope for me on Saturday. Cross your fingers that I do well. Between Aqueduct, Gulfstream, no matter what it is that you're betting this week, football, whatever you're doing, we certainly hope your day can only end up in one place, and that has to be,
just like the Niners, the winner's circle.
Yeah, they're going to go home. Thanks for joining us today. I look forward to getting back together with you the latest next Monday with Terry at Parx.